So in my previous two videos, I invited you to hang out with your mind and gave you some ideas on how you could start to do that. So it might still feel a little bit weird, but it's really no more weird than just creating time to hang out with somebody that you want to get to know better. And that's the thing really, it's about getting to know your mind better, getting to know its triggers, getting to know its preferences, what it likes, what it doesn't like, getting to know its strengths and weaknesses. All of those things help you to just develop more of a partnership with your mind. And that's what it's all about, developing this relationship which is more in partnership. You're not in control of your mind isn't in control of you. So having this idea of partnership is quite a good way to look at it. Now, if you think about relationships that you've had where perhaps one party was more dominant or controlling than the other, how did that work out? And then think about relationships where there's a bit more give and take, where perhaps decisions are made together, where you play to your strengths, where one party defers to the other when needed, but that balances out over the time and the deference goes the other way when needed. So there's much more of a sense of a kind of mutual acceptance and allowing and a respect for each other, and it's much more about a partnership. Tends to work out better, tends to last the distance. And so thinking about the relationship you have with your mind right now, it might be non-existent. It might be that you don't pay it very much attention. It might be that you do pay it attention, but actually the way you approach your mind is quite critical. So you are you have a sort of critical or harsh tone of voice when you talk to yourself. It could be that there's a controlling element to the relationship. It's like you want to try and control the mind and make it do what you want it to do so that you can control the world around you. It might be quite submissive, where you feel like actually your mind is in control, it's totally in the driving seat and it is creating your experience and you have very little control. And then think about, what if you had, or maybe you've had glimpses of this, a relationship with your mind which is open, curious, kind, tolerant. So sometimes things are going well, sometimes they're not. So you can accept when things go wrong, or you can accept when the mind is being a really tricky, like a little tricky toddler. You can accept that you're more tolerant, more accepting. So all of that stuff about being kind and open and curious are all great ways to develop a relationship with the mind that is much more effective. And so that's really the point of this. It's really about creating the time and space to get to know your mind better, so that it's not that your mind is running the show and you're having to deal with the consequences, that you are working in a way where you're more aligned. So the mind and the rest of you is more aligned, where you're less at war with yourself, you're less critical of yourself. You're able to step back and being more of an observer on what's going on in the mind at times, rather than being in the middle of it and being overwhelmed by it. So taking that opportunity to step back, to hang out with the mind, to get to know it better, it's amazing what can happen. So I invite you to do that. Get in touch if you have any questions, and have fun with it.